All right, folks, welcome into the show. Welcome in to Vort Verticals podcast episode. What is this now? Episode 70? How about that? 30 more episodes away until we get to the 100 mark, which, if you know your TV history, that means historically that we will be syndicated, which means we'll be able to do reruns. We're not there yet. We still have about 30 plus shows left. We're getting close, nevertheless. This is the Vort Verticals podcast on this February 6th, 2025, here from a balmy Jacksonville, Florida. Check the forecast this afternoon and this morning. It's going to be warm the rest of the foreseeable future, according to the National Weather Service. So, how about that? Feels like spring already. Though, should I say, does Florida even have a winter? Probably more summer, spring. For most of you guys that actually have actual seasons, but no, it is what it is down here. But jam-packed show today. Got a lot of thoughts on this potential Pac12 coming back TV deal. What's up with that? Got some thoughts on as I check over my notes here. I don't even know. I should know this. So Pac12 TV deals. A report came out from Front Office Sports. I'll touch on that just a little bit here at the beginning. You guys know that there's a lot of debate about Fantastic Four versus Superman going around. I'll touch on that later in the show. Have some thoughts on this Captain America Brave New World and marketing situation. I'll touch on that actually pretty early in the show. And then wrapping it up with Ohio State, Utah, sort of our look back on how we predicted them back in the summer of last year, sort of our continuing of the predictions versus reality series. So that's the show layout for today. If you are new here, do the show twice a week, Tuesdays, Thursdays around 3 o'clock-ish, 2:45-ish. For usually an hour, a little bit less than that, 45 minutes sometimes. We talk college football, talk Marvel, Star Wars, some Buccaneer stuff, especially during the season and when it's necessary. So if you are new here, if you're new to us, first of all, welcome in to the show. Make sure you subscribe, podcast feed on YouTube, follow us on Twitter. That's all I ask you guys to do as I check out my notes here. Okay. So the other day, yesterday actually, a report came out from Front Office Sports. Pretty reliable resource, if you will, for sporting news and rumors and stuff. And that is, as of yesterday, this is coming from, again, Front Office Sports, giving them full credit here, that supposedly Fox, ESPN, CBS, all open to media rights packages for the Pac-12. Now, I may be thinking about this a little bit shocking, if you will. And actually, I'll do that afterwards. Pretty sure you can hear me. I think a lot of folks, when they saw this news, probably a bit surprised, some confusion a little bit. I'll kind of explain it here. What's going on here is, of course, the Pac-12 need, I think they need one more member, I believe, to become a qualified conference within the next year or so. So they've had it in some teams from the Mountain West or sort of reconstructing stuff. Of course, Washington State are there. If I check here, actually, just to see how many members are in there currently, because I know there's the two ones for the Pac-12 currently in football. Obviously doesn't actually exist in basketball anymore. If I can go around, try to see here for Washington and Washington State. Try to see if I can get to their information. 2024. Apologies here, doing some research here on the fly. So the Pac-12, of course, went away thanks to the whole TV stuff, ESPN, and George Clyclough, the old person in charge out there, kind of screw things up a little bit. Now it's gone. However, like I said, they've been sort of partnering with like the Mountain West and whatnot. Soon is sort of doing like a zombified version of it. Of course, last year was just those two, and sort of like I said, kind of meandering around, if you will, kind of a sad situation out there, but. What is interesting for 2025, it's still them, but I believe going forward, I believe, if I double check here, they will be having new teams coming in pretty soon. So, for example, these teams will be joining as of 2026. So it'll be Boise State, Cal State, I believe, is the other team. Fresno, so it'll be Cal State, Fresno will be joining them. Fresno State, that's the full college names. So Fresno State, San Diego State, and Colorado State. Those are the other schools in Utah. Utah State as well will be joining them as well, at least at some point in the future. So they will be joining them. And I think because of that, obviously we're going to need a TV deal. I think the current ones at the CW, I believe, and wherever they can get it on TV if they play a non-conference game against when Oregon comes to town or Oregon State goes to Oregon. Obviously that's like a Fox, Big Ten, CBS, Big Ten Network type thing. So a lot of moving parts here. So the bottom line is, yes, the Pac-12 is out there, sort of. They'll be back in a couple years with more teams. Obviously, we need to be on TV. They're supposedly lining up some stuff, according to a support from Front Office Sports. Several networks are involved here. Do I believe this? Is there some realm of believability to this? Kind of. Obviously, we're going to need a TV partner, but I think the thing is here, when you're looking at any time you're dealing with anything associated with TV or anything close to that, dealing with networks and everything, one of the reasons why you've seen like the ESPNs, ABC, Disney, Viacom, CBS, Universal, NBC, they're choosing some of these conferences or teams or whatever programs mostly based on their inventory and their value. Like how much are some of these programs that you're featuring are being valued? We just kind of talked about this at the ACC, where they're not as valued as like the Big Ten, the SEC, but there's still a lot of value there. Like Clemson, Florida State, Miami, Virginia Tech historically, Pitt in some cases historically, of course Duke, North Carolina for basketball, Syracuse. They have value and they bring in inventory for, these networks to say, hey, we have historically really good teams, bringing a lot of value, they have a lot of eyeballs to them. Does the Pac-12 have that? I don't think so. Probably the only one with meaningful history, probably Boise State, Fresno State, not really. San Diego State, not really. Washington State, not really. So from the value perspective, I don't know if a network like CBS or Fox would be involved. At least I don't expect them to be, because their deal with the Big Ten is much better, and I think it'll be beneficial. They really don't dive into that because, again, it's a small conference. I don't think they really they're not really gasping, if you will, for that. But I think you could see an ESPN get involved here because, again, they lost the rights to the Big Ten. Only time you'll ever see a Big Ten team or Notre Dame on ESPN, it's at least for a home game, is or any game really, is if it's a playoff game at home, because the ESPN has exclusive rights to that, or if it's a Big Ten team like this year, if Michigan going to Oklahoma, they have to be the road team going to an SEC team or an ACC team or a Big 12 team. That's it. They cannot, besides the playoff, ESPN, ABC, they cannot do a home Big Ten game anymore, regardless. If it's, let's say Bama going up to Wisconsin, that game has to be on Fox or CBS or NBC. This year, it can be on ESPN, ABC, SEC Network even. So that's how it works out. And I think for ESPN, because they lost the license to the Big Ten, I think at least for inventory purposes, bringing in more content, having more exclusiveness, not exclusiveness is the right word, but sort of broadening out their stretch, if you will, or influence, if you will. Because again, right now it's currently the ACC, Big 12, SEC being the better of those two in terms of, again, brand value, inventory. Yet in the Pac-12, there's a new version of Pac-12. Yes, it's not the same brand value, but I would probably say that's more likely. But I do believe this report is probably true to a certain extent. I haven't seen a lot of folks talk about it, but just the fact that there are more teams coming in leads me to believe that there is some version of this probably going to happen. You probably are going to see conversations about, okay, who is going to be the next TV provider for the Pac-12. And it's going to be interesting to see if the Pac-12, their representatives right now, currently Washington State and Oregon State, will they allow this? Because technically, I think right now, if I believe legally, they're still in control. I think which is so weird. But interesting to see what happens here. Who ends up getting it? If I had to probably pick here for the, fictionally point a gun at my head and say, hey, you have to, choose one of these options here. I'll probably say ESPN, just because I think Fox, NBC, CBS, I think they're probably fine. Again, also CBS also has their agreement with the American Conference. I believe they still have that, so they're probably fine. NBC probably no. Maybe a wild card here because they have obviously the Notre Dame rights for the regular season and the Big Ten rights, so they could have them in. But I think ESPN is very likely here, just go into history here. And given the current structure of the Big Ten, how those other networks probably don't need it to a certain extent. I think the Pac-12 being with an ESPN, ABC, well, not ABC, because technically I think the SEC, well, I guess technically ABC, but anyway, regardless, I think ESPN's probably likely there out of the ones that Front Office Sports mentioned. Again, this is certainly real. I think there's some validity to this because obviously it's, the only TV partner with the current Pac-12 is the CW, at least right now. So they don't really have much of a TV partner that's reputable. I'm going to wrong with the CW. I mean, they're good. They have a good presentation, especially with the ACC. You can have a meme at this point. Definitely the typical host of the Sicko Game of the Week, if you will. The Sickos Committee, shout out to them. But, yeah, for the Pac-12, whoever's going to get it, whomever it's going to be, probably, I'd have to say, ESPN, just based on the fact that CBS already has, again, the Big Ten deal, American Conference, I believe. NBC probably would be a wild card, but some people have complaining about their presentation. Certainly me, it definitely feels like they're just copying and pasting their presentation for the NFL, which I don't like. But regardless, it's not out of my control. Fox, certainly no. I don't think they're going to. But ESPN and NBC, maybe. I think some folks would rather see a different network take a crack at it than ESPN because, again, they have their own exclusive rights at the playoff. But in terms of their regular season inventory, wouldn't hurt if I was in charge of ESPN or Disney, Bob Iger. I know he's going to be there much longer because he's technically interim CEO because every guy let go. I'm not going to get into all that. That's a whole rabbit hole to get into. But regardless, the support's out there. Is it real? Yes, I think it probably is real. Obviously, this will be something that will be considered here in the next couple of years. But, yeah, that's support out there. And hopefully someday we'll get a version of Pac-12 formally back. Technically, it's not really because it's all intents and purposes dead. But, yeah, that news came out yesterday. Interesting to say the least. It'll be interesting to see what the value is of the Pac-12. Do the current members or the new members, do they have much value? Personally, no. I think Boise State's probably the most profitable. Just, again, their history and what they've done in the last 10, 15 years under, guys like Brian Harsin, the current administration, Chris Peterson, probably would say they're the one that would have the most value. But even that's not a guarantee. I mean, that's like, kind of a pipe dream at that point to have the Pac-12 be the same level as even the Big 12. Like the Big 12 is basically just G5 football, just in a Power 4 conference. So not I don't know if I'll probably say it's easy. It's an easy sell, but I think there's a way to sell it. There certainly is. Someone's obviously going to get it, but who knows? It could also be the mystery other option too, like Apple, Amazon, even if they want to get into college football. Hey, Pac-12 is waving. Hello. Though I will say they didn't necessarily run the table the first time around, technically, though unofficially they probably were. But anyway, that story's out there. If you want to read more of it, go right ahead. And no, just for people who are probably wondering, this is not the big thing that Josh Pate's talking about supposedly on this show. I saw it. Don't worry. I saw the live stream being created. No, I don't think this is the news he's going to be talking about. I think that's more NIL. Transfer portal related, some of the stuff that we talked about, if the portal date moving around or the window being adjusted a little bit, the ability to get players and entering a name in, and NIL changes of the House ruling and stuff like that. That's not related to this, I don't think, but the story's out there. The story is out there. So I'm going to get some water real quick here. Excuse the coughing there. I don't know what that was. So there's a lot of conversation about Captain America: Brave New World. I've certainly had my own opinions on the movie. I've addressed my concerns about it. Long story short, reshoots, the title change, the fact that it's, continuing a storyline from a show that, yes, popular, didn't necessarily jive well with the audience. I mean, I think Falcon Winter Soldier's okay. Did it reinvent the wheel? Probably not. But not the best show they put out there. Certainly not the worst one, but definitely not the best. Got a lot of viewership. There's that. That's something to tote around. But the reshoots concern, I know a lot of folks are sort of downplaying that. Oh, the reshoots, whatever. Not a big deal. Sorry, pal, but guys like Jeff Snyder aren't dumb. I mean, guys like Alex Perez isn't stupid either. They know what they're talking about, and those are probably real. And I think at least reshoots happen. However, or not it's going to be If they'll be noticeable in the movie when it comes out next week, we'll see. I did see Robert Meyer Burnett's tweet from a source he's talked to, and they said, hey, based on what they saw, didn't seem like the reshoots were a big problem. Couldn't really tell if they were what was reshoots and what was not. Kind of said it was a somewhat average movie, I think, what the term was. Look, and I trust Robert. He was in the industry. He was a very much, I think he was like he's a special effects person, Robert Meyer Burnett. I think he's retired now. He's not doing that anymore. He's not working with any in the industry now properly, but he knows people. And if someone's telling him that, and I trust him to a certain extent, then that's interesting. That from what they can tell, the reshoots and whatnot, at least from their perspective, when you watch the movie, if you're watching the movie, you didn't know there was reshoots, then you probably won't tell. If you did, and this is what I'm curious about, and then we'll move on to the actual topic here. This actually wasn't an actual segment about what Robert Meyer Burnett said. Slow down here. Sound like Jimbo Fisher, but this is not a topic, or this was not planned to be a talk about. What Robert said on Twitter, but it is interesting to wonder, as someone like me who knows reshoots happen, I know what things are changed out, like adding in Giancarlo Esposito and taking out the wrestling guy or whatever. I think it's like Seth Rollins, I believe. Took him out and reshot that whole opening scene with a different actor. They also reshot a whole bunch of stuff because the test audience and all the reporting from Jeff Snyder. Again, a lot of people discredit Jeff. A lot of people hate him. I don't know why, because the guy's pretty good. I mean, he literally used to work for the, major news websites for like the Hollywood Reporter and Variety. So he's one of the most experienced people we have out there in terms of independent. But like those guys aren't stupid. Like they reported on the reshoots, they reported on the test screenings, they reported on how many times this movie went through several changes, even the title changed too. So it's clear those reshoots are out there. So people like me knowing that, I wonder how. I do wonder if it will be more noticeable for me, just because, like me, like Josh over Damn Nerds, will we notice it versus a casual viewer who will go into saying, "Oh, it's kind of a fun movie," versus us who do know the whole production history and how disaster it's been behind the scenes there. It'll be interesting to see if you'll notice it versus the general public who may not know about it. Maybe afterwards, maybe they do find out about it, but. That was interesting from what Robert Meyer Burnett said on Twitter there. So we'll see that as it ends up being true. But before that tweet came out, that interestingly enough, kind of going to the main topic here, the folks over at Marvel marketing team talked about it a little bit on Tuesday, sort of in the realm of the Fantastic Four trailer being released. Like I said then, the trailer was really good. Again, I even rewatched it a few times, and more I watch it, I think I'm sort of in the same vein as everyone else. The more and more I'm starting to really like it. The whole live stream circus thing, and then being at the Space Center, looking, like I mentioned on Tuesday, as someone who used to live in Huntsville and used to live there for a little bit, that was kind of cool. So that at least hit differently for me. But the presentation, the fact that it took forever, and that it was kind of strange how you did the interviews with the cast, and then it just went to the trailer, and then the stream ended. Kind of strange. I don't think it was necessary to do that. I know why they did it, because it was airing, I believe it was airing at the same time on YouTube and on Good Morning America, I believe. So it's kind of both. But it's like, okay, why did the stream end? But anyway, that was a marketing fail there. Just the way it was marketed. They said it was starting at 7. They kind of lied to you, lied to us. I kind of got fooled because it was a countdown clock. I mean, I get it. Kind of makes sense if you're doing it just to make sure people are awake, but it's a whole hour. I don't think folks on the West Coast necessarily appreciated that. Now, me on the East Coast or anyone in Central Time or whatever, fine, whatever, and get some coffee or whatever, or eat your breakfast and wait. But so that in itself was a marketing disaster to begin the week. Before that, and even after that, the Captain America Brave New World clip releasing, and this happens to every single movie. And a lot of folks are saying, "Oh man, why are they spoiling stuff in the movie?" They've been doing this for over 20 years. I remember even going back to, I don't know why this is randomly bringing this up, even for Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of Crystal Skull. Lucasfilm released a ton of clips from that movie, if I recall. There's several clips on YouTube before the movie came out. Marvel's in it a ton of times. That's normal. That's typical marketing practicing. Once you get closer to the movie, slowly you'll see clips being released. And I think up to this point, I think Captain America Brave New World's marketing up to this point excluding the clips being released, we'll get those in a second. I think that's been pretty spot on. I think Josh over at Den of Nerds put it perfectly. I mean, much like him, I feel like the marketing they did with tie commercials and sort of, adding in new footage and during the TV spots, that was brilliant. I actually think that got me even more excited for it, seeing more shots of, Harrison Ford as a Red Hulk, more of the action scenes. For example, doing the stuff with the AI co-pilot stuff like that. That worked for me. I guess co-pilot's kind of weird advertising partner, but the scenes that they showed off look pretty cool. But that was fine up until then. I don't know what happened this week, because I don't know if the wrong person. I had no idea, because I'll just be honest with you. Like I said on Tuesday, they dropped the ball with the clips. Like these released clips that they put out, like the one with Sam fighting some of the guys. I believe this happens early in the movie. Him and Joaquin Torres, the new Falcon. That first clip was pretty strange, I guess. Like not as strange as the other one they released. The second one I've seen. But this one, just the action seemed it just seemed slow. I don't know if it's like the best clip you want to put out there, marketing the movie. And again, I get it. You don't want to release stuff that's going to spoil stuff, or you want people to see in the movie theater. That's fun. I don't disagree with that. That's the way I'll be doing it if I was over there. But they chose just a very slow fight. The whole thing looked like it was on a green screen. So it's like, to me, as someone again who has the information, the backstory of the reshoots and the whole drama going behind it, to me, when I saw that clip, I'm like, uh-oh, that sort of looks like something that was reshot pretty quickly. And again, I'm not a film expert. I didn't go to college for film, obviously, but from a marketing standpoint, someone who does have a kind of a degree and a background in that, someone who has seen the behind the scenes of marketing stuff and getting people excited, that was garbage. That first scene clip they released was garbage. Again, the fighting choreography was slow. The way, I don't know, it just seemed really, really weird and slow. And that wouldn't be the clip I'll be releasing. I would have put something a little bit better out there to at least show off to prospective customers and to your stakeholders and whatnot. That was garbage. And the second clip they released of Harrison Ford on a Peloton on the Air Force One, okay, that's kind of boring. Sure, cool. Seeing Harrison Ford talk, I can pull up clips from The Force Awakens or Dial of Destiny and watch him talk, or interviews. I don't need to see him on a Peloton bike and have his assistant aide come in and saying, "Hey, there's random stuff." I don't know. It's out of context. This is such an out of context clip, and it's just from someone who's seen marketing behind the scenes stuff, that's worked in a little bit of it. Again, that's another clip where I'm like, okay, that's kind of garbage. Why would you release something like that? That's like that wouldn't get me excited. And again, I was excited somewhat based on, again, how the marketing for this movie before those clips were released was going completely fine. Then they released those two clips, and it's just come on. It's just it's just gross. Again, the first scene of the fight that they had, the fighting scene they put up on YouTube, again, just slow. Just, I don't know, the choreography looks pretty poor in my opinion. And then the second clip, it's okay, cool, it's Harrison Ford talking, but again, I can go on YouTube and look up different interviews and clips from movies of him talking. That doesn't get me excited. Okay, cool, Harrison Ford's in the movie. We've known that for a year and a half now. That's not breaking news. That's not earth shattering or anything. Now again, you don't have to spoil stuff, but at least give us a better fight scene and a better, I don't know, maybe parts of his speech about when he's they're in the White House, I believe, and he's going over the new I'm trying to think, is it adamantium, I believe, or how you pronounce it? I know how to pronounce it in my head. I just it's kind of one of those hard words you have to actually say out loud. It's kind of a weird word to say, but when he's addressing adamantium, there you go, I can finally get it out after having a stroke on live YouTube. When he's talking about adamantium during the White House scene, when he's doing this, Harrison Ford doing his speech and everything, and that's when Isaiah Bradley comes in, he tries to kill him. At least show part of that clip more extended a little bit. At least show us that. At least that would get me excited. Versus again seeing Harrison Ford on a stupid Peloton thing, and a really slow fight with Sam Wilson, Captain America. It's those are the clips you're releasing. And then they also have a clip earlier that was released on Good Morning America with Joaquin Torres and Sam Wilson going to meet Isaiah Bradley for training. It's like, okay, it's a little bit better, but still, it's like, why would you, like, that's such an out of context clip. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm pulling my hair out. I'm just like, wow, that's pretty poor. Again, not the thing I'll be showing if I was in charge of marketing over there. Again, I thought, Harrison Ford's speech at the White House when Isaiah Bradley tries to kill him, when he's talking about, the new mineral in the Pacific Ocean or in Indian Ocean where the Celestial is at with adamantium. I would have included that instead of whatever the heck, him on a stupid bike. Then his aide comes in. They start talking about, under typical political slop. It's like, I don't want to hear that. Like, that's not something that'll get me excited. That's what I'm trying to say. Again, I don't releasing clips before the movie comes out. That's fine. That's pretty normal. That's pretty standard. The clips that they did release from a marketing standpoint, from a clip releasing standpoint, total garbage. Just total garbage at all. Overall, poorly mishandled. None, of course, on top of the whole Fantastic Four trailer event. Just, man, like, and this isn't even a Marvel issue either. This is a more of a systemic Disney thing in general. I mean, the marketing in general for a lot of these things have been pretty bad. For example, go back to the Marvel's trailer. We were doing like the, showing footage from Infinity War and Endgame, and it's like kind of misleading. It's like kind of strange, and obviously there's a lot of issues with that movie. Just in general, the whole marketing team over there at Disney, I don't know what happened. Again, the first few weeks and a lot of materials they're putting out, like the Tide commercial and some of the TV spots for this movie, were completely fine. It actually got me excited. I agree with Josh over there, Nerd. Same thing. It got me kind of excited. It got me sort of calming down a little bit, think a lot of this down, and it's like, okay, we know this movie was a mess behind the scenes. Maybe they were just able to zombify this thing, and it actually looks good. Then those clips came out, and then me and everyone else is going, oh no. So, like I said on Twitter, I was responding to John Rocco. Again, from a marketing standpoint, this was total garbage. This movie this bad? I don't think so, but boy, it very well could. And I think when Josh over at No Nerds, I was listening to the stream yesterday too, I kind of agree with him. There's a few ways this movie can go. Either they saved it in the reshoots, maybe some of the scenes that they were showing us, releasing on YouTube and the socials, maybe those are just the only ones they felt comfortable releasing for some reason. And like the rest of the movie is actually fine. It's an average movie, better than what they've been releasing lately. Move on. Look forward to Fantastic Four. Or the other option is the movie is complete crap and it's, Quantumania all over again. It's a total mess. And then here we are questioning Marvel again and kind of overshadowing, Thunderbolts. By the way, the trailer that's coming out during the Super Bowl, by the way, a lot of folks are excited about that. And don't worry, we'll touch on that on Tuesday. But, if this movie really is as bad as people think it might be or fearing it is, then that's really going to overshadow Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four. And both those films so far, based on the marketing, especially for Fantastic Four, look great. I don't know if Captain America comes out, and I think we're going to see even more. If people were already nervous about those a little bit, probably more Thunderbolts. I think we're going to get even more people more nervous about it and kind of questioning that. And not to mention the other shows we still have, like Ironheart, which has been delayed, or not delayed. They finished the Ironheart show, by the way. And we'll move on to another topic. That show's been finished for like 2 years. Like that show's 2 years old, but it's finally being released like this year. Okay. That's my thoughts on the whole marketing for Captain America and just like I said, the clips they released, total garbage. Before that, the marketing up until then was completely fine. But those are bad, man. That's really, really hard to mess that up. I mean, you could have, like I said, just released like an extended version of Harrison Ford talking about, adamantium being discovered. You could have released a longer version of that. Maybe they will. I haven't checked yet recently in the last like 30 minutes or so. But just that alone would have get me excited. That's all I need to hear. I mean, that, like him on a Peloton bike, it's like, really, that doesn't scream to me exciting. And it's almost like they're hiding stuff. Either it's because it's really, really good, or it's like this is the best we have, and the rest of the stuff is really shitty. So, like Josh, like you said yesterday, it's like when those reviews come out, probably around Monday or whatever, the first reaction and the first official reviews come out, it's going to be very telling, to say the least, it's going to be very telling. And if Robert Meyer Burnett's source is correct, that to me is probably the best case scenario, is what his source says is correct. If you go into the movie, if you know the reshoots are there, they're very seamless. It's kind of hard to tell which one was which. The movie's pretty much mid-tier Marvel movie. That's the best case scenario. The best case scenario, the pipe dream, is this movie's actually really, really good, and it's a total surprise. The worst case scenario, which is more likely, unfortunately, is that it's another Ant-Man Quantumania, which that movie is it's total crap. So yeah, hopefully this whole marketing situation and just everything leading up to this movie just feels so toxic, and I wish it wasn't. Totally, I wish this was not the way it is, but unfortunately, it is history, and this will be something that I think a lot of us Marvel fans will not forget. This whole situation with the reshoots, the title change, and the whole circus atmosphere, where it's just like, man, this seems like a whole bunch of it's like kind of seems so disorganized, and now you have the marketing disaster kind of. It's just like, man, this did not have to be this hard to figure out from the marketing standpoint. And I also wish it wasn't so hard for me to pronounce adamantium. I don't know why. It sounded like I had a stroke a few minutes ago, but this is one of those words where it's like, it's easy enough to say in your mind, but it's really hard to say if you don't say it as much. So yeah, adamantium. And that's like that. I'm like that for a lot of words. There's a lot of words I have trouble saying, and that's one of them. It's like one of those words where it's like I said, it's like it's easier to say in your mind, but it's really hard to say it if you don't say that much. I don't know. It's kind of weird, but it's one of those things you have to deal with, I guess. Anyway, moving away from that, and that's not by the way the last time we're talking about Marvel stuff in general. That's don't worry, we'll circle back to that. Speaking of which, circling back, actually, that's the next topic, actually. I just realized that. I just went on a whole rant about Captain America, Brave New Worlds of marketing. And I totally forgot which the next topic was, which is still in kind of tuning off what we talked about on Tuesday with Fantastic Four. By the way, one thing you shouldn't forget, subscribing. Subscribe. This is one click away. That's all I have to do on YouTube and on Spotify. Just one click away. You don't have to turn on notifications. You can if you want to. I'm not forcing you to do that, but I am forcing you to actually subscribe. Just do it. Nothing happens. I don't call you on your phone. I don't show up to your house or wherever you live. I don't email you stuff. I don't send you stuff through the mail like a form or anything. I don't force you guys to give me money or anything. I don't, God forbid, send you guys a virus or anything like that. I don't do that. I'm not some ransomware person, but nothing happens. Just sign up. Or subscribe on YouTube and subscribe to the podcast feed. And follow me on Twitter. That's it. If you want to like the videos, go ahead. Well, if you want to turn on notifications when I'm live, that's up to you. But subscribing to the YouTube and podcast and follow me on Twitter, those are non-negotiables. Do it. Just like Nike. Just do it. That's all I'm asking for. That's all I'm asking. There's been a lot of debate about sort of moving along from that to the next topic. There's a lot of debate about Superman and Fantastic Four, both trailers that came out reasonably within the last 2 months of each other. Both, ironically, are getting footage, or in this case, for Superman, new footage this weekend. Which, by the way, the Superman stuff is not coming out during the Super Bowl. Repeat, not during the Super Bowl. That's during, the dog Super Bowl or whatever, because it's going to be more of a crypto base, which is the dog, not the cryptocurrency. A little bit of disclaimer there, or being specific there, a crypto to super dog based footage, I guess, showing a lot more of him, which is fine. I know a lot of folks have their own complaints about the dog and the breed of the dog. To me, whatever. Yeah, it's not accurate to the comics, but fine. It's a schnauzer. I've seen them. I've had my own experiences with schnauzers before with other people I know. It's fine. I think you guys will survive. I know a lot of folks are complaining about it. Some folks who I respect. But to me, it's like, whatever. It's fine with me. But there's been a lot of discussion lately on the old internet, the old YouTube. Well, actually, yeah, I guess YouTube and Twitter about Fantastic Four versus Superman. Which one did it better? Because both of these are going to be premiering, or at least releasing in the month of July. I mean, the thing about this, the month of July, by the way, it's going to be really busy. Not only are we getting the new Jurassic Park movie with Scarlett Johansson which the trailer also came out this week. Man, a lot of trailers coming up for the Super Bowl. Maybe they're scared of the Thunderbolts. Maybe those marketing teams have heard the rumors how good that trailer is and are getting this stuff ahead of time. Who knows? Just saying from what I'm hearing from different sources, that Thunderbolts trailer is me. There's a lot of good steam coming from that. A lot of momentum about that movie. But anyway, so you have the new Jurassic Park movie coming out. You have Fantastic Four coming out. You have Superman. And you, I guess you'll have College Football 26 coming out. So a lot of things happening in July, not to mention you'll also have Big Ten Media Days, SEC Media Days going on. So the month of July, much like last year, it's really busy. So that whole month, especially in the movie standpoint, really busy. Again, you have Jurassic Park, Fantastic Four, Superman. But from the main DC Marvel realm, it's, Superman versus Fantastic Four. Which film, from, a cinematography standpoint, marketing standpoint, creative mind standpoint, which one's better? Personally, I don't really care. I kind of want both to succeed. I'm not rooting for either one. And again, a lot of folks have their own issues of James Gunn, and people are clowning on the movie because, oh man, they're using the Flash cinematographer, and that one was, that movie from a visual standpoint was horrible. I understand that. I agree with you. That's a bit of a concern. I haven't seen much movie footage from the film yet to make a whole formal hypothesis on it. Now, look, from what we have seen, has been a mixed bag. Has the footage from Superman been a mixed bag versus what we've seen from Fantastic Four? Yes, I will agree. From the footage we have seen from Fantastic Four, from a cinematography standpoint, visually, yes, it's a lot better. Yes, is it because the Flash cinematographer is doing this movie? Yeah, that's part of it. Look, I'm not degrading the guy, but I don't know. It's like that's not the one. That's not the guy who I've hired. But whatever. That was James Gunn's decision. We'll see how it plays out in an actual movie. They have some time to fix it up and go into post-production, and that also includes the whole Superman different corsets, face looking like it's CGI or whatever. Yes, that looks horrible. Does that overly bothering me? No, it's not. Hopefully it'll look better in the movie theater, but yes, I agree. It looks a little weird. Supposedly it was not CGI, but in the words of Josh Pate, I don't know if that's the flex you think it is, James, but there's a lot of toxicity around both of these movies. Again, not even just the cinematography standpoint, just behind the scenes stuff, how the Fantastic Four movie, not a lot of drama, maybe besides the casting, which is a little bit of a reverse. Superman, because the Superman casting stuff was completely drama-free. Everyone seems to like it. I'm kind of like it. At least the folks that have involved there. If you guys don't remember, too, the drama with Fantastic Four, the whole casting situation was weird. You had, Margot Robbie being involved. Pedro Pascal, what I believe was a very old rumor. That's been around. That was around even before it was confirmed. But Margot Robbie for Sue Storm, that was around. Mila Kunis from Family Guy. She was originally supposedly going to be the Thing. That was coming from some Twitter scoopers. I kind of believe that was probably true at some point. I think that being leaked out, I think Marvel, rightfully or not, got cold feet, and they changed it to the guy from Andor who was doing the Thing. So that was probably a real. I'm just saying, from what I've seen and heard from pretty reliable people, that was probably a real. Most folks will disagree on that, but I kind of believe it was real. I don't. Did Jeff Snyder touch on that? That may have been one of his reports too. I don't know, but I do know for sure some of the other Twitter scoopers were very vocal about that. But anyway, not even just that, just the whole James Gunn thing and how people were saying, "Oh man, James is very vocal on Twitter and whatnot." And yes, do I agree? He's basically like the Lane Kiffin of filmmakers. Yeah, kind of. Does it bother me every single day? No. But like I said, look, I understand the drama's out there. A lot of folks are saying, again, from a visual standpoint, Fantastic Four way better than the Flash, or the creatives of the Fantastic Four are way better than what James Gunn is doing over there, and James Gunn and his studio is so disorganized. Look, I don't really care. I'm rooting for both. I'm rooting for Marvel. I've been a fan since, I remember watching the first Iron Man in theaters when I was in grade school, but I'm rooting for both. I'm not rooting for any of them to fail. I'm not rooting for anyone to have more success than the other. I want both to succeed. I'm not rooting for any of them to not succeed. I think as film fans, and I think as a superhero movie fans, I think we want both to succeed. I think it would be great to have a Fantastic Four movie finally done properly to actually succeed. Same with a Superman movie. I haven't had a tried and true, well receptive movie since what, the second Christopher Reeve movie. I think the Superman Returns was, boring. Man of Steel, kind of the same thing. I remember even falling asleep during that movie. I know a lot of folks defend that movie. A lot of folks say, "Oh, Matt's the superior, better Superman movie than what James Gunn's doing." It's like, you guys haven't seen the full movie yet. I'm sorry. I thought that first Superman movie was boring. I want to fall asleep. Same with the Brandon Ralph Superman, just boring. That one itself didn't even have good action scenes. It was just kind of So, haven't had a proper Superman film since the 80s. Fantastic Four never had one. So I want both these movies hopefully will succeed. I think it is dutifully time for both these characters and team, I guess in this case Fantastic Four, to have success. And I think from that standpoint as fans, you should want that. I don't think us, clowning on James Gunn or clowning on Marvel lately and saying, "Oh man, look, and they've had so many poor outings and whatnot." I'm not rooting for any one of these to fail. I'm rooting for both these to succeed. And if they're bad, then it's a shame. It really is, because I think both these films both have good attributes to them, good things working for them. Again, I've been a fan of James Gunn. Yeah, I haven't liked everything he's done. I think the second Guardians film, I think, is horrible, contrary to some of my people who I know personally. I liked the first Guardians movie. I think some of this stuff with Peacemaker, the first season, I think was kind of cool. His Suicide Squad movie was funny, good, even though it didn't make a lot of money, but that was like during COVID or whatever, at least on the back end of it, when it wasn't a lot of folks were going out to the theaters, and it was on HBO Max or at least available on there at the same time it was in theaters. But I've also been a big fan of what Matt Shackman has done, especially with this stuff on WandaVision. Great. And I think if you're bringing in that type of quality, well, up until the final episode, that's where some issues I have with that, with especially with that last episode. But besides the last episode, WandaVision, with him and controlling some other writers behind it, and being able to use nostalgia, at least for the older folks of the 60s and 70s and whatnot. If you're bringing that energy to the Fantastic Four, based on what we see in the trailer, it's there. Certainly is there. Now, look, I'm not, like I said on Tuesday, I wasn't born in the 1960s or 70s, so I don't have that, same nostalgic lens for that. But it looks cool. It definitely fits the vibe a little bit. And again, I'm not rooting for either of these to fail. And again, I know the drama is out there. I know a lot of folks are, especially right now, clowning on James Gunn. And again, like I said, I fully think that he is basically the Hollywood's version of Lane Kiffin. That's kind of what he is. He's kind of a troll on Twitter, very vocal and whatnot. I'm rooting for both, and if anyone wants to fight on me on that or disagree on that, look, we can agree to disagree. But for me, from my perspective, this whole drama thing, which one's better than the other, I'm only addressing it because I know a lot of you guys want it to be a big deal, but I kind of don't really want this to be like a consistent topic on our show. So it's probably the last time talking about it, only time I'm ever talking about it. No, I'm not getting involved in this. Look, it is what it is. Yes, is there issues with both Marvel and DC right now, and especially with the Superman movie? Yes, there is. Am I necessarily thinking about it all the time? No, there's not really. But do I acknowledge it? Do I acknowledge there's, like I said, like the Flash cinematographer is doing this film for Superman? Yes, I'm not really excited about that. But like I said earlier, that doesn't bother me as much as some of you guys. Yes, is it concerning, but it doesn't keep me up at night. I don't think about it 24/7. But like I said, I'm not rooting for any of these to fail. I want both of them to succeed. If they fail, that's gonna hurt. It really is. It. I really want these to succeed. Based on what I've seen, again, very small sample size of footage, both of them look good in their own ways. Yes, does the Superman footage look a little worse? Technically, yes, but then again, like Eric Voss said the other day in one of his videos, look, there's still enough time for them to improve the CGI, improve some of the shots. They still have time to get this done, but it's grant you is getting down to the wire here. So that's my thoughts on the Fantastic Four Superman controversy. The person I don't really care about. I know you guys do care about it, so that's why I'm talking about it here. But this is the only time I'm talking about it, and after this, we will not touch this again. So, well, at least hopefully not. I'm going to see how long have we been going for here? Let's guess here. Say an hour, maybe. I'm not looking at the actual stream. Recently, 44 minutes, so pretty good clip. So, get some water. End on predictions versus reality, and then we'll get out of here. Hopefully under an hour. So predictions versus reality. Been a little segment we've been doing here for the past few weeks. We'll continue to do it probably until when spring practice starts cranking up, and then we'll kind of move on from it because we, got to move on to the new to this new season, right? A lot of things are happening. So, up on deck here, Ohio State, Utah. Ohio State probably the easiest one to get through. Our best case scenario was 12-0. Worst case 10-2. Reasonable 11-1. 10-2 actually hits. The worst case scenario hit, but again, this is Ohio State we're talking about. So it's not like 10-2 some like a 10-2 for like Texas Tech or for like Cal. That would be incredible. One of the best seasons in school history. A 10-2 for Ohio State, a little bit different, more of a catastrophe, if you will. But then again, with the expanded playoff and whatnot, you saw it happen. They won the national championship. Congrats to Ryan Day and company. Great. By the way, they did hire a new OC, Ryan Hartline. Kind of thought they were going to go that direction. Though, grant you, based on Brian Hartline's history and him being a brand new play caller who hasn't done it at all since he's been coaching, would probably assume the guy who just got an extension, being Ryan Day, will probably be your primary play caller. That's nothing against Brian Hartline. That's just the vibe I'm getting. So it's not necessarily the Kevin Wilson combination like people like Bud Elliott were theorizing, but kind of got that a little bit. But that doesn't mean Kevin Wilson's going to be – he could join the staff at some point. I think he probably will, but because of the history with them and whatnot. So, yes, that did get announced yesterday. Still no DC yet. We'll see what they go with that. I know some folks are floating out a lot of names. I'm not going to do that here. So, yeah, the best case for them didn't necessarily hit. Worst case almost – or, the most reasonable almost hit. The worst case hit, but ended up you won the national championship because of it. Again, for a lot of these teams like a Texas, Bama, Ohio State, Clemson, trying to think who else would be in here, Georgia. The worst case scenario is probably the best case would be the best case scenario for like an Auburn, Florida, Texas Tech, Miami. Like that would be really, really good for those programs or like an NC State. But these other programs like Ohio State, worst case scenario of 10-2 is not acceptable. Listener fans' minds. To me, that's a really good season. That's pretty good, especially the schedule you're dealt with and the fact that Big Ten is the second best conference in America. That's pretty good in my opinion. On this one, oh man, Utah. Whoa! This one's a little bit tough here to justify because again, injury stuff. Cam Rising, for all intents and purposes, basically died. He's not coming back. I don't think he's coming back. Is he? Let me double check here. Is he actually coming back? So he might be. He's been injured a lot in the COVID year. Let's see. Is he finally out of eligibility? Yes, he is out of eligibility. So he is graduating. He's moving on. So, and last year's numbers were 7 touchdowns, 3 picks. Not bad. But think about this too. Like Cam Rising been in college has that been 7 years? So he's been almost in college for an entire decade. Started at Texas. I think a lot of folks forget that he was on Tom Herman's one of his teams, his second year, I believe. Yeah, second year under Tom, or was it first year or second year? First year under Tom Herman. Second year. No, yeah, second year under Tom Herman. The year they went to the Sugar Bowl and they won it. That's how long it's been. So Cam Rising has been a college football quarterback. He started as a college football quarterback when Tom Herman was still at Texas, and that's like almost a decade ago. So. That was in the last decade, and it's almost in 10 years. So, that kind of tells you how weird college football has been, and hopefully there will be some change coming, but we'll see. So for Utah, because of his injury stuff and the other factors and whatnot, they went 5-7, which was way worse than worst case scenarios. The worst case scenario I had was 8-4. Reasonable 10-2. 11-1 best case scenario. It just makes me want to throw up thinking about it. Yeah, we were way wrong on Utah. Again, didn't consider the injury stuff. I thought we were kind of past that with Utah. I thought because of Kyle Cunningham, sort of like him and Mike Gundy both, the model of consistency, both when Kyle was in when him and Utah were in the Pac12, and Mike Gundy until last year was the model consistency in college football. At least the coaches you wouldn't really think about. Not this year at 5-7, first time in over 10 years, and Mike Gundy and company we're one of the worst seasons in OSU history. Like, wow, that's But that one hit hard a little bit, and I wonder for Utah, I feel like their schedule here real quick. Guess we can sort of preview that a little bit. Haven't really looked at the Big 12 schedule yet. I know was released recently. Their schedule here, if you are looking at this for a preview, at UCLA, so a former Pac-12 matchup there. Cool. Doesn't hit the same anymore, unfortunately, but whatever. At Wyoming. At in Laramie. Definitely be windy. Tell you that. That's probably your hardest road test of the non-conference. That's nothing against UCLA, but from a home environment, actual travel location, that right there is one of the toughest G5 teams you can ever get. So, from a Utah fan, I'm a little concerned there. That's not easy. I would imagine the spread for that game's probably not double digits. I think that might be a little bit close. So, at UCLA, at Wyoming, was it now Texas Tech? Surprise team, Texas Tech, like I've been mentioning. If I haven't, dangerous team that's did really good in the portal. Joe McGuire and company. I know a lot of folks want him fired after last year and wanted to get the JG Kitty from Texas State. I'm like, whoa, hold on a minute here. Let's slow down a little bit. That guy's Joe McGuire, man. He's doing some really good work out there, both in recruiting and in the transfer portal. Like, oh man, that's a dangerous team. Right? That's a really good team. West Virginia, Rich Rod, we'll see. Arizona State, we'll see. BYU, Colorado, interesting. Cincinnati, Kansas State, raising eyebrows a little bit. Could be a fun team. Avery Johnson back, second year as a full-time starter. We'll see if they can get things going. Kansas, Jalen Daniels having surgery again. Don't like hearing that from a Kansas fan, but a reasonably workable schedule, I think. But this Utah team probably one of the worst ones they've had there in a while. Considering what they've been doing there for the past 6 years or so, 6-year run, if you will, of Kyle Cunningham being not only competitive in the Pac-12 but even going back to the Mountain West. Actually, more than 6 years, more like 16 years. But yeah. So Utah totally missed on Ohio State. I think we nailed it pretty perfectly. And I think up on next year, little preview here, we're gonna do USC and Notre Dame. How about that? Those are next, at least on the list when we did the previews. But then after that, some other schools. And like I said, we're not doing the whole 41 teams or whatever. I think we'll do most of them, not all of them, most. But then we'll probably do Tampa a little bit. Buccaneers, yeah, we'll probably do them at some point towards the end here, or at some point in the near future. But we'll probably continue to do this prediction versus reality. And then, of course, like I've been saying, probably around Memorial Day, at the latest Memorial Day, earliest May 1st, we'll start to roll out our prediction segment for probably all the major teams. I mean, not all of them, but some of them, at least probably around 40 or so teams. I know I haven't said this a lot. It's sort of wrap up the show here about the potential guest speakers we'll have. I'm still working on those. Eventually, I would like to have some on there, at least on the show, but at the moment, not yet. I will just say that, not yet. We're not. I don't know if we will be doing that yet. Hopefully, we'll at some point. But maybe over the summer, later this spring, we'll get some guest speakers in. But still working on that. But eventually that will be a thing. I have some other things planned too for the season. Of course, we'll still do our upset segment and whatnot, and predictions and whatnot, and reactions, and all this other fun stuff too. So we do not have, of course, a show again until next Tuesday. Again, I know the Super Bowl is coming out. We'll get some new footage for Superman. That'll happen before, not during it, so don't get confused. There will be a new Thunderbolts trailer. Again, a lot of folks hyping it up. Josh over there, Nerds has talked about it. A lot of insiders on Twitter, Marvel Insider, has been really excited about it. You're hearing some good stuff about it through their sources. That should be an interesting trailer to look at. I think we'll get our first look at Century, get some new footage. I'm actually pretty excited about that. Again, some of the characters that are involved in this I actually do like Yelena, Florence Pugh. I think she was great in Black Widow and Hawkeye. One of the few things about that show I actually liked. I think Black Widow is an underrated movie. Unpopular to say, but I think over time we'll appreciate it a bit more. Yes, the special effects weren't as good, or some really bad shots in that, but whatever. I think the movie was fine. Red Guardian, the actor from Stranger Things, David Harbour. Sebastian Stan has been around for over a decade now in Marvel. He's been pretty consistent. So you have some good people attached to this movie, good actors and characters. The whole idea of a Thunderbolts movie just didn't really appeal to me. A lot of people, I think a lot of us were concerned of some of the leaks we were getting, especially why the team's named that. No, it's not related to Thunderbolt Ross, Harrison Ford now. It's actually, should I say it? Yeah, I should go ahead and say it. The rumor it was, and we'll end the show here after this, that I don't know why I'm addressing this end of the show, but the rumor about where the name comes from is actually from Yelena's soccer team. That's actually, I think that's probably true. It sucks. It's different from the comics. But when that came out this time last year, that really got me thinking, like, man, that doesn't sound that good. But the footage we've seen so far, it looks actually pretty good. I'm actually a little excited about it. Again, Century should get a first look at him. Should be pretty cool. But yeah, some leaks back this time last year. The footage we've seen, looks pretty good. And I think this trailer could be, if it is true, and it's from what the Lakers are saying, that is actually looks pretty dope. I'm actually excited. We'll go over it on Thursday, on Tuesday. Definitely do our continue our predictions versus reality. If there's ever big breaking news in college football or any of our topics, we'll go over that. I'll probably figure something out. But also, by the way, too, National Signing Day was also yesterday. Sad that it's only now known as Signing Day 2, and that there's no signing day in February anymore. The big one is now December. Pretty sad. I said it on Twitter as well. I agree with Josh Pate. It should be a national holiday, but it's not. And unfortunately, February signing day is more of just it may as well be a tumbleweed going across the highway in Arizona. Like, it's just cool. Sad, really is sad, because I do have a lot of nostalgia for signing day. And unfortunately, it's been like this for over a decade now. This started happening back, 2019, 2018, when the new legislation came down from NCAA. You can have people sign in December. So, sad enough, there were some signings yesterday. I think Michigan got a really good player, I believe. The class ranking did not really change that much. So, it was basically finalized in December. It doesn't change that much. But, yeah, very, very sad that National Signing Day is no longer in February. Just kind of depressing. Even though the college football video game says otherwise, they still have it. Technically, signing day for the video games actually February, but they actually do have both now. But whatever, that's neither here or there. Just kind of a little sad, that little note there to bring up. But like I said, show Tuesday, Thursday next week. Who's to say, though, in a couple weeks, we maybe do more shows actually during the week. Stay tuned for that. I want to actually help us get through these predictions versus reality segments. There might be an opportunity for us to have multiple shows for 1 week. Well, I'll let you guys know on that. And that will allow us to get through some of these a little bit quicker. So we'll see. Also, maybe some individual videos too. Maybe we'll save some of those individual. But anyway, I'll let you guys know my plan on Twitter and whatnot if I end up doing that. But might be some opportunities here to get through a lot of those quicker. So until next Tuesday, enjoy the Super Bowl. You guys know I'm not really addressing it here. My team didn't really make it, so it's kind of hard to be invested in it. May or may not watch it. We'll see. Probably will tune into Den of Nerds stream, or if Kimball, the prank call guys, on, that's a whole other topic. Whole other thing I follow prank calling. But if he's on the Kimball, we'll be tuning in his stream. But either way, enjoy the Super Bowl this weekend, and we'll see you guys on Tuesday or next Tuesday.